Okay, this is my first video. I'm not very good at this video stuff because I've already done one video on the way down here, show you where we live and how far this place is from the house, and I had the camera on the automatic camera mode, so I was taking pictures on the way down, not video, but there you go. I'm English, leave me alone. This is the sawmill, skid area. There's some wood I've already cut, not much, because I battered some away, the jeep, chainsaw, some firewood that I need to do yet. Big long big blue. That's probably the best money I've ever spent on that. I use that every day, pretty much. And this is the lumber that I'm going to be doing over the next few days. So crappy aspen, poplar, whatever it is. But I want to get into that red oak there. See them on the bottom? Some red oak there, red oak on the back. I'm going to make some big beams out of that. And this stuff here is just going to be like 2x4s and 2x6s and stuff like that. Biggest thing that I've had lately is this thing. Thanks to a guy I work with. He's very handy and likes to barter. Bartered 2 pigs for that. And some knowledge about raising pigs. He's getting into pigs and he wants to know all sorts about them, and I know a little bit more than him at the moment, so I'll let him know what I know. What I don't know, the wife definitely will know, because she's a fountain of knowledge on that sort of stuff. But these are the forks, which are pretty well made. Chains there and everything. This has made lumbering a lot easier for me. Sorry, the sawmill side of things I should say. Because then I can just pick all this sort of stuff up with the fork. It's all controlled. I don't need 2 people in chains, and it's a lot less fatigue involved. And then I just take it over there to the sawmill and I can place it on there. So it's less hard on the sawmill itself, and then once I've cut the sawmill into lumber, I just take it off the sawmill, stack it all on here, and then drive it down to where I stack it. See the concrete culverts over there I got free from work, and when you hear the rustling, it's not a bear in the woods. Man, she's about as big as a bear. This is Lily. She's currently 217 pounds in weight. She's actually lost weight. Is she 217? No, she used to be 217. She's gone down to 211, I think. I can see the difference. But anyway, what's up, Lily? What's the matter, baby? Yeah, she's a big baby. If a chipmunk or a squirrel came out, she'd run for the hills. But anyway. And this is where I live. Southwestern New York. No leaves on the trees at the moment. There's also no snow on the ground at the moment, but it is wet, as you can see. The water's running. It's muddy. Look at that. Muddy. All comes down the logging skid. I'd take you up there one day, right up on top of the hill, and show you what's up there. You might be interested in that if you like trees. Otherwise, we'll watch Perez Hilton. And that's what I'll be cutting first. I'll be cutting this into, depending on what I'll get out of it, 2x4s and 2x6s. This is a wonderful thing. I've had it a year now. I've not done as much on it this year as what I should have done. But it's busy working and doing all the other stuff, looking after the pigs, which I'll show you some other time as well. But it's a wonderful piece of kit. You get it in, all comes in boxed up form. You can get it delivered, but I'm lucky enough to live not that far from Buffalo, and they have an office there, like a drop off area. You can go and pick them up there, and it all fits perfectly in the back of a regular size pickup. it's got a 23 horsepower Briggs & Stratton V-twin Vanguard engine in it, which is the biggest engine they do. It was a toss-up between this one and the Honda, because everybody, all the mechanics and maintenance guys at work, always told me go for the Honda, and then I couldn't understand why there was a Honda 21 horsepower and a Briggs & Stratton 23 horsepower, what I should do, and then I found out that Norwood Industries, who made this, discontinued the 21 horsepower, I think it was 21 horsepower Honda engine, and I didn't know why. And then when I went picking this up, I found out from a gentleman that it got discontinued because they had lots of problems with it when they had to make some changes to comply with California emission regulations and stuff, and they had no end of trouble. So they just basically withdrew it off the shelves, and basically people who had them had to buy the bits and pieces because there wasn't a recall on them because they withdrew them, kind of thing. I don't know. But anyway, something along them lines. I was lucky enough to get the 23 horsepower. It's good. This is just a standard machine, really. You can get optional extras. It's a standard length bed. I can cut a 12-foot log on it, 12-foot beams, and you can extend it. You can get sections of 4 foot, and you can also get temporary 2-foot sections on the end as well. Sometimes I wish I would have got an extra 4 foot, 16-foot beams are very handy sometimes. But you can also make your own as well. You can cut lumber to fit where them embossed galvanised plates are there, and just get angle for the top. And you can basically go as long as you want. This thing just runs on a rail, so as long as the rail's there, you can keep pushing. And it's just manpower that pushes it. It's a manual mill. People have said, my lord, how hard is that for cut through lumber? Not hard at all. Do it with one hand, as long as your blade's sharp, depending on your species of wood as well. It's pretty easy. But you do make mistakes. Some of the typical mistakes you make with it, that I make with it. I'm by no means an expert, believe me. I'm still learning. I don't know how to cut wood properly, get the most out of it. But I'm learning. It's a time thing, and I'm stubborn. I won't listen to everybody else. But you have to make sure these stops here, log stops, are out of the way of your blade. As you can see in the top there, there's a nice big chunk. That was the end of a blade. That was the end of another blade. Oh yeah, and that was the end of another blade. But anyway, and also you don't really want to put the bolt of wood past that bunk there, because if you do, your blade won't go all the way through. Okay, so you have to be careful with how big your log is. I tend to cut mine about 6 to 7, 8 inches. There's not really any rule of thumb there, I don't think. But anything more than that, it tends not to fit on between that bunk and the blade. There's other little things as well which I'll encounter, and if I encounter them I'll tell you about them if I carry on doing this sort of thing. But that's it. So today I'm going to be doing this. I'm making lumber for a craft shed I'm building for my wife, and there's going to be an awful lot more lumbering to be done, because I'm also going to build other outhouses and an house. So that's basically it. Lily, say bye bye. Bye. See you in a bit. Signing out, sayonara. Toodle pip.